a clarification. I am not here to sell you anything. I am not an Ayurvedic practitioner and I don't sell supplements. The reason why I'm sharing this is because after being a hematologist oncologist for more than 15 years and later on facing cancer for a second time, I had to find what else was missing from what I learned in medical school. I started binging on Ayurvedic medicine as I was in waiting rooms waiting for a biopsy in a time of my life when I thought my cancer had come back. And by the way, that was a false alarm. And then later on, I was diagnosed with a different cancer. I dreaded the idea of now being labeled that something was wrong with me. Obviously, must have had something wrong in my body if I had developed cancer again. I was listening to this lecture in this waiting room, and this very reputable neurologist was teaching a class next to Deepak Chopra and saying, I started believing in Ayurvedic medicine when a migraine patient who I have tried everything in the world to help her improve and nothing worked. I did something Ayurvedic medicine recommended. I put her on a stool softener and her migraine went away. And at that time I say, wait a minute, it kind of makes sense. Now we're saying there's a gut-brain connection. Apparently Ayurvedic medicine has been saying that for a long time. So that made me continue listening. The next thing then that stole my heart was when this doctor said, this is what's wrong with medicine. In medicine, the doctor sees you and starts checking you and doesn't leave any stone unturned. And if the doctor runs out of tests and cannot find anything, then it says, okay, I declare you healthy. For conventional medicine, health is the absence of disease. However, for Ayurvedic medicine, it's the opposite. Disease is the absence of health. What does that mean? In previous videos, we have discussed how medicine has this belief that everybody's sick until proven otherwise. And the moment we are labeled as sick, our powerful minds start saying amen and we feel worse. Wouldn't it be great if there was a different system that said you are healthy until proven otherwise? There is. In fact, that was the idea in the earliest medicine we ever knew about, Ayurvedic medicine 5,000 years ago. What is Ayurvedic medicine? Ayurvedic medicine, or Ayurveda, is a 5,000-year-old holistic healing system originating in India. It focuses on maintaining balance between mind, body, and spirit through diet, herbal remedies, and lifestyle changes like yoga and meditation to promote health and prevent illness. You may have heard some of the fundamental principles of Ayurveda, and if you are a physician, you may even have heard to be cautious. For example, some Ayurvedic medications were found to contain lead, and there's a warning that you have to be very careful. I'm not even going to talk about medications on herbs here. I'm going to be talking more about the philosophical aspects, the mind frame that you can learn from Ayurveda to bring it into your healthcare plan. A lot of Ayurvedic medicine is based on the doshas, on the concept that everything in the universe is made out of water, fire, space, or air, or earth. And I admit that for the longest time, I hated that. I say, like, come on, have those people not ever read a periodic table of elements? Of course, we are not made of air, water, and earth. And I invite you to see those as metaphorical and not to be stuck on them literally. What did I learn from Ayurvedic medicine? Well, first, you have heard me say before that we are all different and that the same thing that is good for someone may be bad for someone else. We know that by genetics and epigenetics. However, Ayurvedic medicine has been saying that for 5,000 years. A lot of Ayurvedic medicine is based on the doshas, on the concept that a combination of those elements, water, fire, space, air, or earth, has to do with the type of person we are, our personalities, our tendencies to get sick. If you happen to be a person with a Vata predisposition, they call it a combination of air and space, a tendency to conditions that cause dryness, GI disturbances, nervous disturbances. Some things would be good for you. For example, carbs would be good to calm you down. In my case, I happen to be a combination of both the Vata condition, and the Kapha dosha, which says you have a tendency to gain weight, retain fluids, tendency to allergies. My husband is a Pitta, fire and water. He's all about steam. Some things that are terrible for him, anything spicy, is actually quite good for my Kapha condition and activates my sleeping metabolism. So, if anything, learn about this for fun because it's fun to understand why something that you like so much and is good for you may not be good for someone else. But the most important concept I ever heard from Ayurveda that marked the moment when I fell in love with it was this simple concept. According to Ayurvedic medicine, we are born healthy. We are born with a container of wellness in our body to the top. And they actually call those droplets of life a beautiful word called Ojas. During our lives, when we run out of them and those levels of health go down, that's when we start feeling sick. It actually says that if we eventually completely deplete all our vital force, that's when we die, which is not a big deal, by the way, because Ayurvedic medicine is strongly connected to the Hindu religion with the subtle body, reincarnation, and dying is not a big deal. Something, by the way, that medicine could use. According to Ayurvedic medicine, we have our life force, the ojas. As we live, we are exposed to amas, which is the toxicity. And all that ama starts eroding away our life force. So we need to be digesting that toxicity. They call that the Agni, getting rid of the amas, purging that toxicity, and bringing more wellness into our life. And the way we do that is with healthy food, with joyful experiences. So we are constantly keeping a balance of the toxicity and the goodness in our body and keeping that level of wellness to the top. I love how they describe the process of losing that health progressively. If we are not processing our amas well, or if we are not bringing enough wellness into our life, that level starts going down. And the first thing we feel is that we feel vaguely lousy. I just don't feel well and I cannot put my finger on it. This is the point when many patients go to their doctors, the doctors find nothing, and they are labeled as somatization disorder patients. It takes more time before that deficiency of life latches into whatever part of our body is weak. If you happen to have an old knee injury, then that knee starts giving you trouble. By the time an illness is detectable in the scans, it has been a long process. If the patient had been in touch with their bodies, could have said something is out of balance. How do I apply this to my health and wellness plan? First of all, the most important thing, bring ojas into your life. Fill your life with good things, nutritious, unprocessed, healthy food, but also joyful experiences. Do the things you love. Spend time with the people you love. Cultivate creativity, expansion, learning, your reasons to be alive. Manufacture the joyful experiences in your life. Those are the droplets of life that remind you of your reasons to be alive. Those are the positive emotions that boost our mitochondria. If you are constantly doing that, you are already maximizing your health. But there's more. Unavoidably, the world will throw toxicity at you. Whether it is a nasty buzz, a virus, a microplastic, you figure we should be working constantly on eliminating that toxicity. I'm not talking about purging. I'm not talking about chelation. That's one of the things where my nerd kind of cringes. I'm talking about processing, using your Agni. Remember the episode in the nervous system, the possum. Whenever something bad has happened in your life, don't ignore it, don't pave over it. Take the time to honor it, to process it, seek help, vent to a friend, write a venting letter, do whatever it takes to shake this toxicity, this trauma out of your body. And I'm talking about even the mild day-to-day toxicities in our life, the fight with a boyfriend, the annoying coworker. So in conclusion, know yourself. Understand yourself, your environment, your circumstances, to know that what works for someone else may or may not work for you. Number two, bring life into your life, droplets of energy and joy and life and vitality. Those moments of joy are not only necessary for your mental health, are vital for your physical, biological health. Number three, make sure you are digesting and processing things well. And I'm not only talking about your food, which is important to digest. I'm also talking about processing the sources of toxicity in your life. Number four, pay attention to your body. Perhaps when you're not feeling well, the very early migraine, the very early sense of something off with you, your body may be telling you that there's an imbalance of goodness and toxicity in your life. Tend to them early. Don't wait for the process to be advanced enough to be detectable in an x ray. This is not about labeling you as sick. This is about replenishing your sources of health and wellness. And as a bonus, maybe there was more in Ayurvedic medicine than we gave it credit for. We now know there is a gut brain connection, that there is a connection with positive emotions and the mitochondria. The next time you think something may sound off, open your mind and ask yourself, what can I learn from this? So, Ayurvedic medicine is one of the examples of a different thinking framework. Would you like to hear more about other systems that deny the current medical paradigm? A course in miracles, Anita Moorjani's theory of esoteric healing. Do you have another system to propose that you would like me to cover in the future? Would you like us to explore energy medicine? Please comment and let me know what would you like to hear about next. And if you have a question about your health, this is the time to ask it. Send me one via the comments now.